dun, 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 dun. Hey, Ben L, what's up?
Just singing the Darth Vader theme song for Kate Brown. I want to see the meme where she has the helmet and
Yeah,
her stupid face.
yeah, yeah, and her short little stature with the big honking ass helmet on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep, that's the
Remember
one right there.
Spaceballs? Remember
What's
that
she?
old movie
What is she?
Spaceballs?
Yeah,
With what is his name?
yeah.
Jimmy Moran? Is it
What
Moranis?
is she doing to her state now?
I don't know. It changes every day.
Yeah,
Today I heard that. What did she say? She was like, well, we're taking into consideration shop owners and retail store workers, and we're finding out that it's a little harder to than we thought for them to enforce the vaccination cards.
really.
Like, now you didn't think of this before.
Well, well, speaking of consulting with people, the OHA director, who's, has no medical degree whatsoever, was asked if he had consulted businesses about this whole thing. And he said, yes, I have. And then in that same video, the head of the Oregon Association of Businesses or whatever it is says, well, I wouldn't exactly call it consulting. It was more like we were told this is the way it's going to be.
So it
So
wasn't consulting; it was insulting. I think that's what he meant
yeah,
to say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So apparently, you know how the progressive left, you know what they do with words. They do word butchering and
Yeah,
word murder, and so apparently consulting does not mean what it used to. What it
like
used to, but
equity.
yeah,
Equity is one of
yeah,
their word murders. Equity is the new thing, but what equity means is
it
racism.
does. It
But
does.
now we know a year later
Yeah.
that what you go to college for. It's so that you can learn what all the new words mean.
Yeah, yeah, it's guaranteed outcome, which necessitates that you take something from someone else and give it to someone else. There's no other way to make that work.
based
But
on
they,
based on skin color, which is a very important faction of anybody's life, or a good factor of determining who they are, right?
yes, yeah, immutable characteristics are the only thing that we should judge people on. Apparently,
Yep, exactly. Just like Martin
yeah,
Luther King said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Judge not the content of their character, but just merely the color of their skin.
Totally.
And if they're not doing so well, then take something from somebody else who has a different hue and give it to them, and we'll call that equity.
Yeah, exactly. And now everyone knows what equity means. That's a very good lesson in political science.
Yeah. Yeah. And what kind of science is Kate Brown dealing with this COVID response?
It's political science. It very much
That's
is.
right.
It's insulting too. It's insult to science. It's like yeah, we'll have the hostesses, the 20-year-old, 19-year-old hostesses at the restaurants enforce vaccination passports. Crazy. But you know what I did today? I went and played basketball around lunchtime with no mask and
Good for
full
you.
contact, which was really fun. And then I went all the way through Fred Meyer with no mask and got some
Good for
shopping
you.
done and came back and made dinner at home with no mask.
Good for you. And you appear to be healthy.
All this work is making progress.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, there doesn't seem, we keep hitting on this, but there doesn't seem to be any way out of this except people at the local level taking this thing into their own hands and saying, enough is enough. We're not going to do any of this stuff. I don't know where the governor thinks she gets the power to do everything that she's doing. I've yet to see the law which allows her to raid the Oregon Treasury and give money away in prizes to people who submit to a desired medical procedure. But this is just getting completely and totally out of control. And everybody knows. I mean, everybody knows, Ben. We see it all the time. People saying this is just nuts. How do we get out of this? And the way we get out of this is the Stand for Freedom Project. It's no one's coming to our rescue. The
No,
courts are not coming to our rescue.
and that's exactly the way the founders of the United States Constitution framed it. They knew no one would come to our rescue. They knew that tyranny evolves from democracy. They knew that, so they gave us amendments and specific order to make sure that we can protect ourselves. And that's exactly what we have to do. And if anybody thinks that we can sit here and it's just going to blow over, Kate Brown's going to just move on. I mean, Oregon is the great progressive experiment in our country. It's the great progressive experiment. We've seen the thugs of Antifa terrorizing our citizens, doxing you online if you don't agree. They can't argue with you because there's nothing for them to argue with, and so they just go after you personally if to try to scare you and intimidate you into shutting up. In fact, a lot of times they actually tell you shut up.
Oh yeah,
because that's what they really want you to do is shut up. And it's this great experiment in Marxism and the color revolution in Oregon, and the insurrection is happening here and now. And the only way to defend it is for citizens that value freedom and choice, which, let me say this, it's always the right answer to give the citizen freedom and choice. If you're ever going to err one way or another, you give them the freedom to choose, because then it's not the government's fault. And then you don't have millions of people angry at the government for destroying their lives, which is exactly what the state of Oregon has done. And so counties have to step up and they have to say, this is a sanctuary. This is the United States of America. We're going to answer to the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And we're also going to answer to the Oregon State Constitution. And that's what we're going to do. And no one or nothing else. And that's the answer out of this.
Yeah, it is. You're right, Ben. It is the answer out of this. And the more of us that take this on by signing the petition to support it, either at the county or the city level or both, the more I forget, I can't find the word I'm looking for, the more apt county commissioners and city councilors are to take this on. I mean, if enough people, if we show enough people at the county level, if we show enough people at the city level, citizens within their jurisdictions, that people want this, so we show enough proof that, hey, this is really something that a lot of people want from all walks of life, from different political affiliations, then county commissioners and city councilors go, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
In most cities, it's funny, I said this on Twitter the other day and I got some snide remark, but most cities and most counties in Oregon reside out of the metro area. I suppose that maybe that's a little self-evident or a little captain obvious, but the point here is that the metro area for too long has been running Oregon. And those of us who don't live within it, I think we're perfectly within our rights to say, no, we're not going with your program. Our program here is just to leave us alone. Let us run our businesses, work our jobs, raise our families, get our kids in school or out of school or however we want our kids, and just go away.
Which is what the government should do. Go away.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. And you've always said this. You talk about the strategy, the political strategy of bottom up. And I want to give an example of that. House Bill 82, or what is it? 84. What is it?
3284A.
3284. I'm sleepy. But 3284, which is basically what they've done with this 110 bill that they've been working on for a year. It's a medical privacy bill in Salem. And what they decided to do after multiple public testimony processes, or open public testimony, at the very last minute, last week, they brought in an amendment. And that amendment is very, very simple. They're going to take out COVID-19 vaccination status as protected medical information, protected privacy protected medical information. So only that's getting removed. So all your medical information is private to you by law, by the Constitution, except your COVID vaccine status. So they did that at the very end, right before approving the bill. But here's what happened. Oregonians for Medical Freedom, Free Oregon, a whole bunch of other groups got together, and we got all of our members to write letters in directly to the senators on that committee. And I know that Thatcher's the vice chair, and so we have an ally in there, Kim Thatcher. And we got all these letters in, and you know what? They were supposed to vote on this on Monday. But today's Tuesday. They pushed it to Tuesday. Today they pushed it to tomorrow, and they're not voting on it because that bottom up works. That bottom up works.
It does.
Strategy, political activism strategy that they've had, that you have, David, that says from the bottom we push, and that is successful. That's the only way, and we have to participate in our political process, or we're destined to be ruled by fools, which is a Plato quote. Plato.
Yes, yes, it is. Ruled by our inferiors.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
by idiots.
Yes.
How many other ways can we say it?
Well, politics has an interest in everybody, and the progressive left have figured out that if they occupy elected positions and unelected positions as well, positions of power, that they can exert influence over the electorate. And that's what we're suffering from here. We're suffering from out of control influence over the electorate, and it's against what we've always known to be American. I mean, this kind of intrusion in our life, and if we don't apply constant pressure, constantly from the bottom up, they will continue to do it. And so, one of the nice things about the Stand for Freedom Project is this resolution and the ordinance that will accompany it at the city or county level is not specific to any particular issue. What it does is it codifies into law the supremacy of the Oregon Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. In other words, it gives people at the county level, gives people at the city level a way to opt out of enforcement of lower laws or executive orders, mandates, whatever the hell you want to call them, that conflict with higher law. And if we stick with our higher law, we have a much smaller government. We have a government that is much more insignificant in our lives. And that's really what we're suffering for, is a government that has become the 800-pound gorilla in each and every one of our lives. And if we
right
don't,
in your face.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah. And it's hungry. It wants to eat. and it feeds on your liberty, and it feeds on your freedom. That's what that 800
pocketbook.
It feeds on your pocketbook. Yeah,
all your money and your assets.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. Waits for you to die and then takes half of it.
That's right. When it doesn't get it all and you die and there's still some left, it gets half.
Yeah. So, if you're out there, if you're in earshot and you like what you hear, or you want to know more about it, you can go to freeoregon.us. You can go to restoreoregonnow.org. You can join our Facebook group, Stop the Abuse, Restore Oregon Now. Open Oregon is also in on this thing. You can find Free Oregon on Instagram as well. But if you know that something's wrong, and almost all of us do now. I mean, it's amazing. It's become so pervasive in everybody's life. It's like, this, it's not right. So if you know something's wrong, you don't know what to do. This is what we do. Sign on. You can go to restoreoregonnow.org/SFF, Stand for Freedom, petitions. Sign online. It only takes a few minutes. You can go to freeoregon.us, sign there. It only takes seconds, actually. And you can make your voice heard. So, if you're sitting around and you don't know what to do, this is what you need to do. If you're in a group of people, like-minded people, and you're kicking around, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to, counter this government overreach in the state of Oregon? How are we going to shut this down once and for all? Well, this is one of the ways you do it. There are other actions that we can take, and there are other actions we will take after this, but do this. It's simple. It's easy. And we're building right now in the process, we're building a coalition of counties, and to a lesser extent, a coalition of cities. So when we pass this thing, we're going to do it en masse, and it's going to have a huge effect. It's going to have a big slap in the face of the government, to the governor's executive orders, and some of these laws that are in conflict with higher laws that are coming out of Salem. So I encourage everybody, to jump on board. Send the link to everybody you know. Send it out to your email lists. Share it on all your social media channels. Print out the paper petitions, take it to your church, take it to your business, take it to your work, and get people to sign this.
Yep. And let us know where you are. We'll come pick them up. We'll send someone to come pick up those signatures. And there's also, I want to say this too. There's a lot of rallies coming up. We're part of a rally group that's going to have 7 rallies in 7 cities starting this Saturday in Clackamas Happy Valley at the City Hall. And we're going to have the petitions there to sign. And so get there and sign it and grab some blank ones and take them with you and get them signed, because we have to take action. The reason we're in this place, the reason thousands and thousands of small business owners lost everything this past 12 months is because we haven't been participating in our political process. And this is how we do it. It is as simple as signing something. And from there, you can go on and send it and organize and lead and take all kinds of different actions. There's a never-ending amount of actions that we can take to restore and defend our constitutional rights and our liberties. So lots of events coming on. You can actually go to freeorgan.us to our events page. You can look at what's going on and you can come out and we'll have it for you to sign. It's the most important thing. It's why we have it as the first thing that you see when you go to freeorgan.us. Right there is the Stand for Freedom petition, because it is the single most important action that we can take as a state right now. Is the Sign for Freedom. So you stand for freedom, which you got to sign for freedom is really what it is. You got to sign for freedom.
You got to sign it and send it, right, Ben?
You got to sign it and send it, baby. You got to sign it and send it.
Sign it and send it.
Sign it and send it.
Or scan for freedom as well. We've got a QR code.
You can scan for freedom too. So you can stand for freedom, you can sign for freedom, and you can scan for freedom.
Yeah, and keep an eye on this page. We have swag coming out, so we'll have T-shirts that'll have the Stand for Freedom logo on the front, and it'll have Scan for Freedom with the QR code on the back. You can walk through everywhere that you walk through in life, and people can snap on the back of the QR code on the back of your shirt and go sign this thing.
Yep, and you can hit it from a long ways away too. It's crazy that when they're on a shirt, you can if you're at a grocery store and you see someone with that Scan for Freedom, you can get them from all the way down the aisle.
Yeah, you can. So government goes to those that show up. We're showing up. Ben's showing up. Open Oregon's showing up. Restore Oregon now showing up. Free Oregon is showing up.
And you're showing up. You're showing up.
We want you to show up too, and we've made it easy for you. We've done all the footwork, and if you need something to do, this is the thing to do. Last word, Ben.
I don't know, man. I think I wore my Portland shirt tonight because if you're in Portland and you have like a terribly nasty homeless camp invading your own property, you need to sign it and you need to send it.
Sign it and send it.
Sign and send it.
All right. Hey, thanks, everybody.